Just as the sky was beginning to lighten, the convoy halted outside Józefów. It was a typical Polish village of modest white houses with thatched straw roofs. Among its inhabitants were 1,800 Jews. The village was totally quiet. The men of Reserve Police Battalion 101 climbed down from their trucks and assembled in the half circle around their commander, Major Wilhelm Trapp, a 53-year-old career policeman affectionately known by his men as Papa Trapp. The time had come for Trapp to address the men and inform them of the assignment the battalion had received. Pale and nervous, with choking voice and tears in his eyes, Trapp visibly fought to control himself as he spoke. The battalion, he said plaintively, had to perform a frightfully unpleasant task. This assignment was not to his liking. Indeed, it was highly regrettable, but the orders came from the highest authorities. If it would make the task any easier, the men should remember that in Germany, the bombs were falling on women and children. Then he turned to the matter at hand. The Jews had instigated the American boycott that had damaged Germany, one policeman remembered Trapp saying. There were Jews in the village of Józefów who were involved with the partisans, he explained according to two others. The battalion had now been ordered to round up these Jews. The male Jews of working age were to be separated and taken to a work camp. The remaining Jews, the women, children, and elderly, were to be shot on the spot by the battalion. Having explained what awaited his men, Trapp made them an extraordinary offer. If any of the older men among them did not feel up to the task that lay before them, he could step out. Trapp paused, and after some moments, one man from 3rd Company, Otto Julius Schimke, stepped forward. Captain Hoffman, who had arrived in Józefów directly from Zacharo with 3rd Platoon of 3rd Company and had not been part of the officers' meetings the day before, was furious that one of his men had been the first to break ranks. Hoffman began to berate Schimke, but Trapp cut him off. After he had taken Schimke under his protection, some 10 or 12 other men stepped forward as well. They turned in their rifles and were told to await a further assignment from the major. So, and we'll go into this, but you've got a battalion, 3 companies, there's probably 500 men. And they get this savage order that they're going to go and shoot the women, children, and elderly on the spot in this village with pretty white houses. And the commander, this guy Trapp, who obviously isn't comfortable with it, he's got tears in his eyes when he's given this order. He says, hey, if anybody doesn't want to participate, you can step forward now. And like 10 or 12 people out of 500 step forward. The rest of them hold the line in this case. Going back to the book, Trapp then summoned the company commanders and gave them their respective assignments. The orders were relayed by the platoon commanders. 2 platoons of 3rd Company were to surround the village. The men were explicitly ordered to shoot anyone trying to escape. The remaining men were to round up the Jews and take them to the marketplace. Those too sick or frail to walk to the marketplace, as well as infants and anyone offering resistance or attempting to hide, were to be shot on the spot. Thereafter, a few men of the 1st Company were to escort the work Jews who had been selected at the marketplace, while the rest of 1st Company was to proceed to the forest to form firing squads. The Jews were to be loaded onto battalion trucks by 2nd Company and 3rd Platoon of 3rd Company and shuttled from the marketplace to the forest. And that's for executions.
Yeah.
After making the assignments, Trapp spent most of the day in town, either in a schoolroom converted into his headquarters, at the homes of the Polish mayor and at the local priest at the marketplace, or on the road to the forest. But he did not go to the forest itself or witness the executions. His absence there was conspicuous. As one policeman bitterly commented, Major Trapp was never there. Instead, he remained in Yosefov because he allegedly could not bear the sight. We men were upset about that and said we couldn't bear it either. Indeed, Trapp's distress was a secret to no one. At the marketplace, one policeman remembered hearing Trapp say, "Oh God, why did I have to be given these orders?" as he put his hand on his heart. Another policeman witnessed him at the schoolhouse. Today I can see exactly before my eyes Major Trapp in the room pacing back and forth with his hands behind his back. He made a downcast impression and spoke to me. He said something like, "Man, such jobs don't suit me. But orders are orders." Another man remembered vividly how Trapp, finally alone in our room, sat on a stool and wept bitterly. The tears really flowed. You can hear that idea that orders are orders.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't stand. Doesn't work.
Mm.
Back to the book. As the roundup neared completion, the men of 1st Company were withdrawn from the search and given a quick lesson in the gruesome task that awaited them. They were instructed by the battalion doctor and the company's 1st sergeant. And this is a quote from one of the men. "I believe that at this point all the officers of the battalion were present, especially our battalion physician, Dr. Schoenfelder. He now had to explain to us precisely how we had to shoot in order to induce the immediate death of the victim. I remember exactly that for this demonstration he drew or outlined the contour of a human body, at least from the shoulders upward, and then indicated precisely the point on which the fixed bayonet was to be placed as an aiming guide." So we have the battalion doctor who's instructing some of the men, and you're going to see that it wasn't all of them, to take the bayonet, which is on their rifle, put it on the back of the neck as an aiming guide to know exactly where to shoot.